Hello, hello. I am Ben Pick, and thank you for joining me in Writing to Write, where I used to give questionable writing advice through writing metaphors, but have since switched over to hosting productivity sprints. I am Ben Pick, as I already said. This week has been pretty relaxing, I guess. Not a whole lot going on. Standard work week, standard writing week. I did get everything done that I had hoped for. Moving on from last week, where I did a couple of rounds of the previous two chapters because they were very important. And now I am in chapter 25, which is exactly where I said. And 25 through 35 are relatively short chapters. So I should honestly be able to get through maybe even up to chapter 28 by the end of tonight. So probably do 25, 26 in the first sprint, 27, 28, maybe start 29. Like I said, these are short ones. They are important, but they are also shorter. Let's see here. I also like Richard. Hey, how's it going? Yep. Glad to be here. Glad you're here. Glad you're hanging out. Yeah, so the arrow to knee reference. Yeah, so my knees were acting up pretty bad when I was at the beach, and that was flat running. So I decided to go see a physical therapist for my knees, and he basically just says strengthen them, which is, kind of obvious advice. So I am less than a week in. I fully stopped running for 3 weeks now, at least more than that, minus the beach, of course. So I've just been doing indoor biking for a while, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a lot of snake oil. I don't know. I wasn't very impressed with the place that I was going to. We'll see if it helps, or honestly, if just not running for a month and working on strengthening my knees, strengthening my legs will help. I'm sure it will. But it feels like it's kind of, I don't know. I don't have a good way of describing it, short of I came back from there and was like, well, it felt very woo woo when I was speaking about it with Adriana. So I have to do. He said every single day. There are a bunch of red flags where, every single day I'm supposed to stretch my legs and do a couple of exercises that will strengthen them, which is fine. That makes sense. The guy is like, well, you got to come here twice a week. And I'm like, that's just dumb. There's no reason for me to do that. And he's got like, it's basically just a massager that he, puts up to my knee, both knees. And I don't know. He said it was like an ultrasound or something. So it's shooting stuff into my legs, which is always fun. It's basically, it seems just like it's just a massager for the knees, which probably isn't going to do a whole lot. I think the regular mild strength, mid strength training, mild strength training, and then I bought weights for my legs, so I'm going to do like leg stretches and stuff that'll train them pretty well. And then I also brought a electric blanket, which should help do it too. So we'll see. I would like to see improvements after a month. I mean, if we go up to 2 months, I don't know. I haven't gotten a bill yet from them, but I can only assume it's probably like $200 a pop to go out there. So I definitely don't feel like that money is well worth it. If it is, again, like I said, I haven't got a bill yet, but that's just my own estimate. And yeah, if it's much more than that, then oh boy. Anyways, I am here. Let's get started on writing. So we are hosting productivity sprints. The first one is for 30 minutes. Then I do 2 of 20 minutes. I'm going to start off with chapter 25. It is chapter 25 in the fourth novel, my ongoing manuscript. I believe the manuscript is out with a proofreader. I don't know. I hired a proofreader. I'm paying them. It's in multiple increments. And there's an end date set. So in theory, they're looking at the version of the manuscript I sent them, which is now out of date because I'm making small changes here and there, which is kind of annoying. But if I get like 90% of the manuscript proofread, then it's fine. It's weird because I set up like an initial timeline of September through October to look at, or maybe it was later October, November, whatever. Either way, and then he comes back with a agreement, whatever it's called, legal agreement. I don't know. Contract. There we go. He came back with a contract and it's like, hey, I'll get this done by whatever, August 21st or something. It seemed like it was 3 weeks from now. And I'm like, oh, well, then I need to just give you everything I have now, which is, again, I'm making very minor iterative adjustments here and there. So overall, I feel like it's fine if he gets a version of the story that I'm not actively working on. But I definitely would like to have gone through it one more time. But whatever. It is definitely nice if I can get this done sooner rather than later. It means I might be able to get the book out. I don't know. We'll see what timeline I'm working with. Again, even if he's able to get back done back to me quickly, I'm still going to do a complete run through of every change, and then after that, I'm going to do another complete run through of the manuscript. So that's probably going to put the finish date by November, which means that I'm just going to push this back to, say, February for publishing it. And that's fine. That was kind of my loose plan anyways. I'm not really in a rush to get it out by the end of this year, so I can just sort of sit on it and start working on book number 5 while this one is just ready to go. Anyways, with that in mind, let's get started on the first sprint. See you all in 30 minutes. Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you were very productive. Looks like, Richard, you are working on your book, The Thaw, and you also don't want to launch in the October to February timeframe. Yeah, that makes sense. There are a lot of, that's not really a dead zone for books, that's a dead zone for indie published books is the best way of thinking about it, because you have all of these, you have a lot of people who are out there, buying gifts for whatever year-end celebration they celebrate, and a lot of indie books can get lost in the way when they aren't, these. It's not even just traditionally published. It's when there isn't a. It's not advertising either, but when there isn't a lot of. It's like advertising. When there's a lot of knowledge or push or social media, whatever, that the book is out there. So it would just kind of get lost. And then, when people are looking for whatever book, it's already been out there for too long. So you kind of lose that momentum that you might have gained by having a book promotion or a book launch party. And because that time of the year is already kind of cramped up with other books that are out there, it's very easy to get lost. And so rather than just deal with any of that, it's so much easier to wait until March. Oh, sorry, I meant to womp womp. Yeah, so anyways, that's why if I can't get it done by early October, and honestly, even that's probably too pushing it too much. I'm most likely just going to push it back to March, which is fine because I have a couple of conferences that I go to around then. So the May to June timeframe is pretty packed with conferences. Oh, the two that you should, Balticon and AwesomeCon are the two big ones. I don't know if I'll do AwesomeCon next year. That was kind of a lot. Also, Balticon is a lot too, but just because it's 4 days when it should really only be 3, I don't know. It's hard to gauge all that. Anyways, point being, because I don't like winter. Fair enough. Although, so you're working on The Thaw, I guess that would be a pretty good spring book to publish out there. Anyways, I hope all of you have been enjoying your sprint, and let's see. Oh yeah, so I only did one chapter. I started off on, so I finished chapter 25. I started off on chapter 26, but in between there, I wanted to send a message to the person who's performing the proofread. I had this idea of where I could ask him to finish whatever chapter he's working on and then start with a new document that I give him, just because I'm making a whole bunch of tweaks to it. I'm 2/3 of the way done with this round of edits. So if he does pick it up now, I'm comfortable with what I'd be sending him. I don't think it makes sense for me to do multiple rounds of that, but it would be really cool if he could pick it up from sorry, I'm going to just message my wife because I heard the dog barking. Anyways, point being, I want to message him because in between when I sent it off, in between when I sent the manuscript off, I believe I've done 10 chapters, but those chapters are a lot bigger than but those chapters are a lot bigger. So if I am able to send him, chapters 1 through 25 fully edited instead of chapters 1 through, say, 13 or 15 or whatever, that is a big difference in what his proofreading will fully cover. And my wife had set out. So we had this mat that Boone sort of has to dig around for food for. So it's more of him sniffing, and it gets him mentally stimulated while he's eating. And it also keeps him from just inhaling his food. And she put it down, but didn't realize that I forgot to replenish his food in the little box that we keep upstairs with the food that we keep in the basement. And so she set up his mat, but didn't put any food on it. So he was howling. Anyways, let's get started on sprint number 2. I will see you all in 20 minutes, where I will finish with chapter 26 and hopefully chapter 27. We'll see. And welcome back. I did not finish chapter 26. I was close, but I got lost in one paragraph where I just read it and reread it and reread it and reread it and just kept changing the words. So I am close to finishing, but I'm not quite there yet. Close to finishing this chapter, not quite there yet. And I will definitely finish by the end of the next sprint, and I'll hopefully finish chapter 27. That's my goal. If I can do that, then by next Monday, again, 6 o'clock, so I hope to see you all there, I will likely aim to be up to chapter 30. I think those are good goals, given how busy the upcoming week will be. Let me set this aside. Cool. Okay. Yeah. So, how about you all? How was your sprints? Anything fun? It did take 20 minutes. Good. You load the dishwasher. Yes. Do I need a snuffle mat? Probably not. I mean, my diet plan is basically Kirby-esque, where I'm the pink ball that just inhales all the food. But no, having a snuffle mat won't solve the problem. But thank you, Richard. Let's see. With that in mind, nothing really going on. I already talked about last week. Talked about what's going on this week. It's going to be work will be stressful. They were talking about shifting around my schedule because looks like the only way this current project had some scope creep, so they tried to add on an extra day, but the next project I'm working on can't be pushed back, which means that I'm probably going to have to just, I don't know, I'll figure it out. They want to try and give me overtime time, but I don't like doing overtime because my life is already hectic enough, and the payout from doing overtime is never equivalent to the time, the amount of life lost by working overtime. Anyways, all that to say, this week shouldn't be too bad, I think. I'm set to do a decent job with the current work, and I'm happy to find out next week how wrong I am looking at how things are going. Anyways, let's get started on the third and final sprint, and I will see you all in 20 minutes. Thank you for making dinner, sweetie. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all the work you're doing around the house, and for feeding Doggo. Buddha boy. Anyways, see you in 20 minutes. And welcome back. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for writing with Productivity Sprints. Thank you for writing with the Productivity Sprints. There we go. We'll try it again. Sorry, these there's a lot of things that are kind of making my speech a little annoying. Probably won't ever get used to them, but whatever. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for writing during our Productivity Sprints. And thank you for keeping me honest. I did not finish chapter 27. I have a few minutes before dinner, so I will finish up the few remaining paragraphs. I'll work on chapter 28, 29, maybe 30 between now and next Monday, and I'll pick things up same time next week. And yeah, hopefully everything will get done as I like. Anyways, thank you so much for being here. I hope to see you all next Monday night at 6 p.m. And with that, take care. Have a wonderful week. It's Monday night, so everything can only get better from here. And yeah, take care.